Hello, everyone. My name is Steve Mortillo, and I served in Iraq from March 2004 until February of 2005. I'd like to share my story with everyone here today, and I'd like to start by thanking the veterans who've come out to support us here. It's meant a lot to see so many vets show up and really take care of their own. My troop was awarded the Draper Award for best troop in the division, in the 1st Infantry Division. And that came as no surprise to me at the time. I had the privilege of serving under some very honorable, disciplined, and totally adept leadership in my immediate, non-commissioned officer corps and my immediate platoon. They're some of the most squared away and honorable people I think I'll ever meet in my life, and I'll never forget, the camaraderie that was shared and the tough times we all went through together. I remember before we left for Iraq, standing in formation, and my commander at the time came forward and said, I want everyone to take a moment, and I want you to look to your left and look to your right. And I'm not going to be able to say that everyone that you see to your left and your right will come back, but we're not going to leave anyone behind. At the time, it wasn't very real to me. I kind of looked around the platoon and I said, if there's a group of guys that could make it back, without taking casualties, this would be the one. Yeah, I was wrong. I remember we got there, all our vehicles were pretty much in working order. We had spent some time into the maintenance of those, and we started running our missions in Iraq, doing what's called presence patrols through Ad-Daluya, and I guess we would be putting some considerable wear and tear on our Bradley fighting vehicles that we rolled in. Around April, the violence in my area started picking up. When we got there, we had experienced a time of relatively little contact. There wasn't too much going on. People were still in that phase, of wondering what we were doing there and trying to, see how it was going to manifest itself, the occupation. As soon as the violence started picking up, we started getting mortared. It was pretty regular. We started taking fire from RPGs, IEDs, and, it's stressful. You're in a situation where you're rolling down the road, and at any time, the ground beneath you can just totally disintegrate, and you could find yourself, dead or worse, wounded, I started noticing that there was some shortages in some of our equipment, especially track. Now, track is the equivalent of, I guess, what tires would be on a car. It's metal track that's linked together with rubber padding that's designed to, cut down on the wear and tear on paved surfaces. We were receiving shortages, and it was putting a lot of wear on our tracks. And eventually, one night, one of the tracks in my platoon broke, and the vehicle flipped on its side, and luckily no one was hurt. Amazingly, no one was hurt. That's 32 tons rolling over. It can do a lot of damage, and it kind of came as a surprise to me to see shortages and things when you see the contractors on your base. They would show up oftentimes in the morning hungover, getting paid 4 times the amount as you, and you're out there, experiencing shortages in some key equipment, and I don't think that there's much of a doubt where the money's going, because it's not going to the military, and that was really frustrating for me. Was just for my personal morale at the time, was watching people in safer situations, kind of real gung-ho, but never leave the base, and you know, I don't think that I think it's you know, it's disrespectful to ask someone to be there for money, and, you know, people that are going to say, you know, whatever happens, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to Charlie Mike, and have someone who could just quit at any time, and, you know, making money hand over fist while you're experiencing shortages. You know, it's frustrating. And after April, around August time frame, I got my leave to go, or actually around July. I got my leave to go on R&R. I was one of the earlier people to go on R&R, and you know, I went back and I was telling people, you know, back home my story, and when I got back, I'll never forget this. You know, I was in the reception area, and one of my friends pulled me aside and said, you know, while you were on R&R, one of the members of your section, the platoon leader of your platoon, was hit in the face with shrapnel from an IED. And, you know, I knew the person. He's someone who I had done multiple missions with. And, you know, the first thing you say is, I mean, the first thing everyone says, I guess, is, you know, stop lying to me. I don't want to hear that. You know, it was hard for me to accept the fact that he was wounded, and as the story progressed, I found out that he was pretty critical. He had lost, you know, he had took some pretty serious damage, and the other members of my section, while I was on R&R, had attended to his wounds and initially saved his life for a period of time. I mean, you come back and you just start. You know, there's this feeling of guilt, I guess, you know, that while you were living it up back in the States, you know, one of your comrades got hit, and it was, you know, that was our platoon leader. He was a good platoon leader, and he, you know, he served his men well, and he had a lot of respect from us, and it was a hard hit to our platoon. 2 weeks after that, or I guess it was 2 or 3 weeks after that, again, I was woken up in the middle of the night to inform me that another member of my section had been killed by an IED. And, you know, again, they woke me up, and I said, you know, quit lying to me, that's not true. It was hard to accept that we had just lost 2 people, you know, from my section in less than a month. He had hit an IED, and the Bradley burned to the ground, totally destroying the vehicle. And yeah.